Always say Tri-City Sports Now here on 1420 WEMB Sports Radio owns the Tri-Cities because we've got the best guests and the hardest hitting opinions in the market. And I think that that best guest reputation is coming out right now in spades as Kellie Harper, the new head women's basketball coach of the Tennessee Lady Vols, joins me. Normally we begin the show with my monologue. I'm going to put that off to the next segment because, hey, Kellie Harper agreed to be part of the show, if you will. And, these are her first few months after replacing Holly Warlick. And I guess the question that I want to begin with is very blunt to you, Kellie Harper. You're inheriting a team that is making a coaching change. Two of your best players transferred away. Are you involved in a rebuilding project for the Lady Vols?
No, I just won't go there. I can't. I think we have talented players on the team, and I think for us, we're just maybe remodeling a little bit, We're just maybe going to do things a little differently. I'm not sure. I just know we're going to come in and we're going to have our culture that we want. We're going to have our system in place, and I'm excited about the players that we're working with.
Well, you inherit a team that, yes, did go to the NCAA tournament last year, as Tennessee always has. But I have to ask you this, Coach Kellie Harper. We know your track record. Very good last year at Missouri State. Very good as a Tennessee Volunteers point guard. But at NC State, I think I'm not exaggerating the least bit in saying Lady Vols fans would want a superior record than what you put up in Raleigh. How are you a better coach now than you were when you were at Raleigh?
I think I'm a better coach now than I was even 5 years ago. Mm-hmm. You just learn. You learn from all your experiences, both positive and negative. And, you learn all sorts of things, whether that's player management, how you approach practices, how you approach your game preparation, what your team needs to be looking like, how you interact with administrators, your staffing. It's just all things. You learn and you grow and you develop, and I feel really good about where I'm at right now.
What makes you feel good about where you are right now? I mean, obviously for you, it's a homecoming. I mean, it's the Tennessee Lady Vols, one of the great brands of women's sports. But other than, the window dressing, so to speak, what makes you positive about this team?
Well, what I mean, feeling good about where I'm at, I mean that I'm confident in our ability. Mm-hmm. But also being excited here. I think, we have a great product to recruit to, and I think you can see our passion and our excitement when we are talking to these young folks about getting them interested in the University of Tennessee. I think our players have been excited. I think our fans. I understand our fans. They want it. They want it now, and I get that. I do too. No one's going to want it quicker than we are, but we understand it's a process. And I just feel really good about our staff and the makeup of our staff and how we've been working together and our vision and all being on the same page moving forward. So there's just a lot of positives right now, we just gotta keep that vision and keep moving forward towards that vision very strongly.
Well, let me go with this. I know college basketball, women's college basketball, has changed an awful lot in the 20 years since you were the Lady Vols point guard. I know that in '98, this is the greatest women's basketball team ever. And I think a lot of people would probably say a few of those Connecticut teams may be ranked higher than what the '98 Lady Vols were. You were beating in the NCAA finals teams like Louisiana Tech and Old Dominion. And now women's basketball, for instance, it's all really about the major conferences. After all, why did you come from Missouri State? Can you tell me a little bit about, in your opinion, how college basketball has changed since when you were the point guard for the Lady Vols to now that you're the head coach?
Right. I think there's more parity now. I think there are more teams at an elite level now than back then. And I'll tell you what, I'll guarantee you, my teammates and I, we would fight you on who would have been the best team of all time.
That's why I was a little bit, wait a minute, I'm selling this to Kellie Harper. She's not going to buy that.
Hey, there's some pretty good teams out there, no doubt, but we would love to still be in the mix, I'm sure, my teammates and I.
I'm not that, it was a poor team by any means. I've always wondered if, they really did push that hard in Knoxville. The team that you played on that won a third straight national championship is the greatest of all time. And I really think that was made in reference or to counterpoint what Connecticut was doing, because certainly that 95 Connecticut team with Rebecca Lobo really did in so many ways give so much attention to women's college basketball. Now you, assuming that you stick around, I guess you'll be playing Connecticut a couple of times. That rivalry reemerged. They're going to be going into the Big East. Do you think that makes a school that some might say is Tennessee's arch rival that much better by them going into the Big East Conference?
I don't know. I don't know what they feel like in their athletic department or their women's basketball program, if they feel like that's better or not. I'm not sure where they stand with that. I just, I know historically Connecticut is very good. I mean, they've had tremendous teams, and what they've been able to do up there has been great for women's basketball. So I don't know, where they stand and what the opinions are on that. It's still going to be Gino's team, and they're still going to be good regardless of what conference they're in.
Will you try to extend the series after the couple of games that you're going to be playing against Connecticut? I mean, that was the game of the women's college basketball season for so long.
Right. I think for us, we just have to evaluate where our scheduling is and for the next couple of years and see where we're at and have those conversations and make some decisions later. I don't think we're in any position at this moment to make that decision, but just as we kind of move along, just kind of see what our scheduling is going to look like in the next few years.
Everybody talks about the influence of Pat Summitt, but what about the influence of the person that you are replacing, Holly Warlick? I mean, their standing ovation she got at the Women's Hall of Fame was most deserved, in my opinion. And in fact, I thought that she did receive more criticism than was justified during her coaching tenure at Tennessee. She was an assistant coach when you played there. Everybody talks about Pat Summitt. What was Holly Warlick like?
Holly was great. Holly was, a go-to for a lot of us, a lot of the players. We loved being around Holly. She, I think we related to her because she had been there. She was a Lady Ball and had a lot of success. And, she was very competitive, very fiery, but very caring. And I think everybody's played for her. I would think would say anything negative about her. I mean, she was just, we loved her, and I still do. And, I know that the situation she was in was really difficult. I understand that. And, so I think it is really, really important that we all are very respectful of her and her time here. Because, I mean, she's from Knoxville. She played here. She coached here. She bleeds orange. I mean, this is a true Lady Vol, and it's important that we get that out there.
Let me ask, have you spoken with her since becoming the Lady Vols head coach?
I haven't, but that's going to happen. And, I understand, when changes are made, when decisions are made, things get really hard. But, look, she's always welcome here. And, again, I love her, but also understand that this was a tough time.
It was somewhat touching as well as bizarre, I thought, that on the day that she was fired. The website of the Lady Vols was "Thank you, Holly." I don't think there are too many places where you're making a coaching change, and that would have been what was on the website and such. But any regards, you're the coach now, Kellie Harper. And I do want to ask you this. You've touched upon relationships with the administration. You talked about some of the obstacles, maybe, touched upon them that Holly Warlick had. Here's something that I've noticed. Your salary is going to be less than half what the offensive coordinator of the football team is going to make. I have looked in Tennessee recently, since Holly Warlick was there. I'm not sure that they have paid the women's basketball coach, certainly in comparison to what, say, Gino Ariema has made, or some other elite college basketball coaching peers of yours. And where I'm going with this is that sort of implies to me, I always thought Tennessee was so ahead of the curve historically, say when you played Title IX, and really, funding women's sports. When I see this salary disparity, I wonder if that's the case. Is Tennessee, in your opinion, fully committed to winning in women's basketball at this time?
Oh, I fully believe that. Absolutely. The conversations that I've had with our administrators and the support that not only I feel, but our staff feels and our players feel. Absolutely. I feel just as supported as I did when I was a player here. I really do. The Tennessee Lady Ball program and the brand is still a very big deal
Sure.
here in Knoxville and in women's basketball. And I think folks around here still feel that and want to see this program as successful as it can be, and also are really trying to make sure that we have what we need to be successful. Coach Fulmer was over watching practice the other day. So I just think,
Okay.
we've had several administrators just come in, step in, just ask us how things are doing, peep in on the practices. That's a good thing. It's a good thing, and I feel really good about it as we're moving forward.
Is there anything, like I said, I did notice the discrepancy of salaries, between you as well as Warlick before you and some of, like I said, the elite coaches and such, and certainly Tennessee, and the elite programs. I noticed, for instance, Don Staley's contract lasted far longer than Warlick's and such, and I did wonder if that wasn't a trickle down in terms of commitment to women's basketball that may have been there when you were playing or under Pat Summitt or so. Is there anything that this program that you have right now needs that it doesn't have right now to regain past glories, to keep up with the Joneses? Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great question. And that's something that I think we will be evaluating. I don't think that's easily answered in 2 months.
Sure.
It's one of those things that once you get a full cycle in your tenure, once you're there for a full year, then you've experienced every aspect of the program and every aspect of the season, and so you've gone through all your recruiting, you've gone through a full season of travel and tournaments, and then summer access. So once we get through that, and we'll be making notes from now moving forward, but once we get through that, I think we'll have a really good idea of where we are, where we need to be, and are we there? And we may very well be exactly where we need to be, and we may need to improve in some areas. So that will be an evaluation that we'll do. When I say we, I think I've got a great staff that's coming from some other well-known programs. We've got assistant coach coming from Ohio State, assistant coach coming from Arkansas. We've got an ops person coming from North Carolina. So in addition to some folks that have been here, so we have. I think we have people that have been in the business, they've been around, they've seen what it looks like at other successful institutions, and it's going to be important that we continue to push forward because, again, women's basketball is a big deal here, and it needs to continue to be a big deal here.
Tell me what your opinion is of the college basketball talent, women's college basketball talent in the state. I mean, I'm up here in Upper East Tennessee. I remember when South Green was ranked third in the country, or just a couple of years ago when they won the state championship and such. Certainly, you've got a national brand. I know recently, Oregon has been a place where the Lady Vols have found talent and such. But is there enough talent in Tennessee that, say, the Lady Vols can be a team, I don't know if I should say primarily, but with a strong Tennessee presence that can win on a national stage again? If you understand what I'm saying, what's the talent like, in your opinion, in the state?
I think so. I think there are talented players in our state. Now, we may not have the number that maybe larger states have, but I think we have talented players here. I think what's important is regardless of where these players are coming from, that we get the right players. We're going to get talented players. We need to get the right talented players. We're going to make sure that we look in our state. I think that's important. I know for me and for some of my teammates and for some other folks that I've seen be from Tennessee and come to the University of Tennessee, it's unbelievably special to have that opportunity to play here and be from this state. It's just really unique and really special, and really gives you a lot of opportunities beyond college. I think it's important that we look for those players here, but I also think it's very important that we have a national brand and that we are able to, go recruit in any state in the country, get in the door, and have an opportunity to sign an elite caliber player. Again, not just a ranking. We're not just going after, hey, here's the number 1 prospect or here's the number 7 prospect. We've got to get the right prospects. We've got to get the right ones here to make sure that we're succeeding at an elite level.
She's Holly Warlick. She's the new head coach of the Lady Vols. And, boy, I enjoyed this right here. You want to come back sometime before your game against ETSU to kick off your tenure at Tennessee?
Hey, absolutely.
All right. Kellie Harper on Tri-Cities Sports Now. Well, thank you very